Student, welcome to all for this session. Fine. So in this session we are going to discuss about the tables. Okay, last class we discussed about the links and how we can make create a links to the text and links to the images. Okay, in this class we are discussing about the tables, creation of the tables, and the uh, presentation of the tables with some data. Right. Okay. All of you know about the table. Okay, so table is nothing but a two-dimensional matrix. It contains rows and columns, and each rows and the intersection of rows and columns are simply called as a cell. Okay, cell holds some data like you know how the tables are used in Microsoft Word as well as Microsoft Excel sheets. Okay, Excel sheet is made up of the rows and columns only. That's the huge form of tables. Okay, similarly we can create tables in an HTML document so that it can be displayed in an web browser. Okay, so the first of all, there is a tag it has to be used for creation of the table, that is table tag. Okay, you can see it here, table tag, which is used for creation of the tables in an HTML, and so that defines how the table can be used. Okay, there are some attributes of the table that define some properties of the table tag. Okay, so in order to create table row we have a tag called tr is used for creation of the table row, and that there is one more table, it's called as a table data td, that is used for creation of the uh, table columns. Okay, and here basically it contains some data. Okay, you can place data in between td and td tags. Okay, so table is used for creation of the table, and tr is used for drawing the row or to describe the table row, and td is for describing the table data, and the td holds some data. Okay, and the header rows. Okay, we have all the table does contains an rows, it's called as a header row. That's the first row of a table. Okay, so that is created by using th tag. Okay, th stand for table header. Okay, so table header is used for creation of the headings for the table. Okay, that simply called as a header rows. Okay, and data rows. Okay, that is done by using td. We already discussed here. Okay, the td is for creation of the table. uh, Sorry, tr, it is used for creation of table row, and td is for the columns. Okay, let me show an example how we can make use of the tables here. Fine. Okay, so there is no example here. Let me create a new program. How to make use of tables. Yeah, okay, just look at this code window. Fine. So anyway, html starts with the html tag, then followed by head tag, then followed by does contains a title. Okay, I will type using tables. Let me close tables here. Title, let me close the head tag. Let me open the body. So followed by we have table. Okay, so the first tag in table is tr. Okay, tr for creation of the table row. uh, Let me write name, close tr. Fine, table row, and it should contain table data. Sorry, table header. Should be table. Then here is table row again. Okay, fine. If you want more than one table headers, okay, you can use th. Once again, in first row it contains two class. Okay, close table header. Okay, this comes in the first row. Let me run this, save and run this program. Save it as a table.html. Here we go. So there is a table. Okay, table has been created. The two columns are there. Out in first row, name and a class. Okay, so let me change the visual of this table. Let me bring it in the middle so that I can use a tag called center. Okay, now you can see it in the middle of the table, sorry, middle of the browser window, and you can see it is not in table format because there must be a border, then only we can uh, see the table structure proper way. Fine, so without a border, table border, it will simply look like this. Okay, let me put a border here. Okay, let me add border is equal to 1, that is the property of a table tag. Okay, so now there is a border. Okay, so border and name class. Okay, so it look like a cell like structure, so I can create a table like this. Fine, so if you want to add more columns, let me add one more the column like a th. mm, okay. Marks, let it be marks. A student, I'm going to create a student table. Okay, so here we can see the table row, three column table with three columns. Okay, in the first row, so first row by using tr tag. Okay, tr tag has created three columns with name, class and marks. Okay, let me enter some values for that. Okay, I'm going to create the second row. So first row has been closed. Fine, so second row I can use table data. Okay, instead of table header, that is only for the first row, the topmost row, that is table header, and followed by table data. Let me write names. Okay. Okay, so this is the value for and comes under name. This is the value comes under class. This is the value comes under marks. Then close tr. Okay, then again if you want to use write some more column, sorry, rows, just copy and paste. Now let me save and see, you can see the table like structure. Fine, name, class and the marks. Fine, name, class, and that comes under table header, and the table row we have td abc, and the class is bc, and the marks is 89, xyz is another column, another row. Fine, third row, that is xyz become and 18, that's the marks. Fine, so it like a very neat the structure with a table. Fine, so the difference we can find it here by using th and td. Th, so it's in bold. Okay, I have not entered in bold. Okay, it's look in bold format, and td in normal text only. Okay, so now this is in the center of the uh, browser because of I use center after the body tag. Okay, let me explain some of the properties of or the attributes of table tag. So we can use the align property. Okay, align property, so in order to align it in the center. Okay, so align and does have a values, so I can use the value. Okay, so I used the align property. I excluded that center tag itself. Align property and the value is center. That's why the word so table is in the middle of the browser screen. Okay, and let's see some other. We can also set the image for the background image for the table. Okay, so I can use it like this: background equal to, if there is a some what you can say example example. Okay, so I'll place this image between that. Okay, you can see the image behind this. Okay, you can see the image behind this. So that is done by setting the background image property. Okay, so now the text is already there, but behind that we have an image. Okay, fine. So next one is background color. You can set the background color for the I will exclude this one. I'll use background color, and that is bg color for the board table. Okay, now you can see the changes here. So lime color has been applied here. Fine. So bg color is in lime. You can also change the colors. Let me go to the next property. So borders. Okay, so border we have already used. Okay, so basically border is equal to 0 means there is no border will appear. See, let me set this as 0. So you can see without a border. Okay, so only the background color it has been added. So now I have to put some borders. Okay, let it 5. Okay, it shows the huge border. Okay, and now so let me go to the next property, that is border color. You can also set the border color, that is background color and the border color is different. Border color sets the only for the border of the image. Okay, sorry, table. Okay, so let me write red. Okay, the border color is in red. Okay, you can find it out. Each border will be filled with red color. Okay, border is filled with red color. Okay, now that's all about the basic properties of attributes of table type. Okay, table I can set the border. Fine, I can set the alignment of the table. Back and set background color. I can set the border colors. Fine. Okay, let me move on to the next property, that is cell padding. Okay. So that's it. Fine. Let me move on to the next property. It's called as a cell padding property. Cell padding. Okay. Let us see the difference. I'll remove these things. Fine. Remove these things. Border color and the background color. Okay. Cell padding is equal to, I'll put some values. So the cell padding that says that is the space between the content of the cell and the cell wall. Okay, there's a space between content of the cell and the cell wall. Okay, so this attribute controls the distance between the data. That means data in the sense that enter data like a b c. Here we have entered a b c x y z. Okay, so content of uh, the data in a cell and the boundaries of the cell. Okay, and that will be set it in pixels. Okay, you can find the difference here. You can find the difference. See, between this is the text is being started from this, and we can find the space between uh, the data in a cell and the boundaries. Okay, so and the boundaries of the cell, if I exclude this, okay, it will look like this. Okay, so the smaller size. Okay, now if I place cell padding, so it will increases the space between boundaries of the cell and the cell data. Okay, let me make it 10, even the bigger table will appear. Okay, so we can clearly find the difference, okay, between the data and the boundaries of the cell. Okay, now we have one more attribute that's called as a cell spacing. So the difference between cell spacing, so here the cell padding is used for finding the and shows the difference between the data and that's the space, okay, the data in a cell and the cell boundaries. And this one cell spacing, the space between two cells, okay, so the space between these two cells. Okay, here we have the cells, okay, the space between two adjacent cells, okay, then that is set by cell spacing. Okay, now we can see the difference. Fine, the space between cells, two adjacent cells, that is arranged by using cell spacing property. Let me increase the size of the cell spacing, so even bigger. Okay, so the it's in pixels, the difference, that is the space between two cells, okay, equal size, because I said it's as cell space equal to 10. Okay, I hope you understood the difference between cell padding, cell content, okay, cell content and the boundary of the cell, and followed by cell spacing, the space between two adjacent cells. Okay, the space between two adjacent cells, that is a cell spacing. Fine, now you can also set the height as well as the width of the cell. Okay. You can also have this, you can also have the width. Okay, so these are the differences. Fine, cell space. Well, okay, then followed by we have row span and the column span. So this row span and the column span has to be used inside the table header or table data. Okay, let me use the col span and the row span. So actually that is the col span and the row span that actually merges two rows and the columns. Fine, if you use col span, it merges two columns, and if you use row span, does merges two or more the rows. Okay, so let me make it a use for this program. Okay, so here is a marks. So in this example you can see that columns has been merged and the rows has been merged. Okay, so let me show the code behind this. Okay, sorry, page source. Fine, so here is this. So first of all, this is our code, student name. Okay, you can see the student name. Okay, so first row has been started here. uh, two rows and three columns has been, okay, two rows, one two three, okay, sorry, one two, the first two rows, okay, marks on this has been merged. Okay, that made it as one. Two rows and three columns has been spanned. Okay, so for first, the first two rows, Okay, so it will look like the structure, looks the structure like this. And the marks that takes three columns. Okay, three columns has been spanned for marks. Okay, three columns has been spanned for marks. Okay, so in first row it contains the data like th, student name and the marks. Okay, student name and the marks. And followed by we have the second row. uh, so the first has to be that is spanned. Okay, so the data is in second row. Java Web DC, that is the subject name, so you can find it in here, Java Web DC. Okay, Java Web DC. So first it has been a row span to 2, and the marks that spanned three columns. And in the first row we have the data, two headers like the student name and the marks, and second row we have the subject name Java Web and DC. And followed by we have third row we are actually entering the contents. Okay, a b c x y z, these are the student name and their respective marks in one row. Another row, another list. Okay, so rows that is xyz 60, 70 and 80, that is the second row values. So then you can close the table. Fine. So that is how the column span and the row span has been works. See here, we use column span and the row span in our example. So first two rows has been spanned. Actually it has to come in one line, so this line has to be drawn here like student name and the marks, but it has been spanned two rows. Okay, so first row is the second row is the, okay, so two rows and span make it one row. Fine. And followed by marks is in first row itself. There is no row span for the marks, only the column span, three columns are span. Then here are the uh, three columns Java Web and DC. Okay, so that is how the row spans and the column spans works. So whenever you are drawing the table structure like this, first of all we have to draw manually, then we can apply the codes. Fine. So next commonly used tag in table is caption. Caption is the sense where we can place uh, the caption for the table. So caption giving the headings for the table, not the table headers, headings for the table. Okay, so here in this case the caption has been placed, so the student list, so we can see the student list at the bottom. So we can also place this at the top of the uh, in the browser window. See here, student list comes, that is the caption that comes up below the table. I can place it above the table by just placing the style attribute caption side is equal side column top. Okay, so if you simply place the caption like this without any attributes, so it will by default place on the, okay, on the top of the table itself. Okay, on the top of the table caption, I have not used any of the align attributes of the caption. And simple caption, by default it places the headers on the top of the table. Okay, then you can apply what about the heading tags required. For example, I can use h4 so that it will look like bold, looks in bold and the big size. Fine. So that's all about the table tags. Okay, so very important, ask for 5 to 6 marks, how to create a table and what are the attributes of table. With the example we can explain like this. Okay, table align background, fine, should remember all these things. And very important is here table creation of the insertion of the table row and inserting table datas. And even caption, you can also use the caption for setting the captions. Fine, you can see all those in here, and these are not much important. That is by setting the caption by using style properties. Fine, here are the examples that have been given for all those the tags like cell padding, cell spacing. Fine, and the row span and the column span, you can see how the row span, the column span has been works. Okay, so this is simpler as we discussed earlier. So two rows has been spanned and three columns has been spanned for name and the marks. Okay, so here is a code of that. Okay, in first row, two rows for the name, three columns for the column marks. Okay, so that's all about usage of tables